You just pick my laptop, so you can send it out.
Ich bin jetzt gleich wieder weg.
We need an answer. We have been together a long time ago.
Let's do something in the city. Beside the tourism habits. Good morning, welcome in Berlin. Capital Club. Our big event on Thailand in Germany today. It's not much of a session. Welcome all of you here. Some of our friends and colleagues registered are still missing in action, but I'm sure it's in that time only. Welcome His Excellency to Germany now from the Ministry. Again, Ambassador to Germany, Monmouth, now special advisor, and of course, our special guest speaker today, Dr. Khalid Sansuban, Secretary General of the EDC. Welcome our partners and co-organizers, Dr. Wein, Head Theory of the German Thai Chamber, and Bangkok, of course, the representatives of the East Asia Association, and Messer, the CEO of Messer in Bangkok is still on the way, I will expect later. Our speakers are really complete. We have to add somebody from the district sector as well. And the pleasure to introduce Dr. Irina Hans, our special partner when it comes to media and promotion of business and of course political diplomatic events. The editor of the diplomatic magazine, also of course member of the cabinet. The time is short. Hannover Fair is beginning. Everybody is waiting for Hannover, so let me make it short. I'm introducing the first part, and Ambassador Longwood will have the honor to introduce the panelists later on in the second part. It's now to you, Ambassador, to give us a short introduction of Thailand's new role in the world after COVID and before action. We're going to start after this event immediately. The floor is yours.
Young Frida, distinguished panelists, ladies and gentlemen, good morning and it is indeed my honor to welcome you to Thailand Meets Germany, forging stronger business partnerships, jointly organized by the Royal Thai Embassy in Berlin, the Office of the Eastern Economic Corridor of Thailand, OAD, the German Thai Chamber of Commerce, the German Global Trade Forum, and the Diplomatic Magazine. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank our distinguished speakers from the Federal Foreign Office, BMW Group, Deutsche Bahn, Messe Friedrichshafen, and Frankfurt IBK Berlin for accepting our invitation to come together today to discuss future partnership and cooperation between Thailand and Germany. And this year, of course, as you can see from the logo, Germany and my badge, Germany and Thailand are celebrating our 160th year of diplomatic relations. And this event can be regarded as a substantive part of our celebrations. I'm proud to inform you that after 2 years of no travel during COVID-19, Germany is the first destination in Europe for this kind of delegation from the Office of the Eastern Economic Corridor. Therefore, this event reaffirms the importance of Germany to Thailand as an economic development model and as an investment partner. Thailand and Germany certainly have a long history of trade and investment and other relations. Germany is Thailand's most important trading partner in the European Union, while Thailand is ranked at number 36 amongst Germany's trading partners and the third among the ASEAN countries. We are proud that approximately 600 German companies are investing and operating in Thailand, and many of you are represented here, and there are around 30 Thai companies thriving in Germany. Amidst the pandemic, German tourists are ranked at the moment as number 1 for tourist arrivals in Thailand, and that's a record for the last year. From the day after tomorrow, Thailand will be fully reopened with no quarantine requirements. And this year, we hope to welcome more tourists to Thailand under the new campaign, Visit Thailand Year 2022, Amazing New Chapters. As for 2021, the Thai economy recorded an expansion with a GDP growth of 1.6%, with consumer spending picking up, while export of goods, private investment, and government expenditure continued to grow. During the pandemic, Thailand's economy has experienced challenges, but it has proven to be as resilient as ever. Our resiliency is based on our strengths in fiscal and monetary policy, logistics and infrastructure, and our diversified and increasingly digitized economy. In addition, Thailand is stepping forward to attain sustainable economic development through key national strategies, such as the Biocircular Green Economy Model, or BCG, which focuses on Thailand's strengths in biodiversity with the use of advanced technologies and innovations, as well as the Thailand 4.0 strategy with the aim to create a value-based economy that is driven by innovation, technology, and creativity. Ladies and gentlemen, today we will hear the latest on Thailand's flagship project, the Eastern Economic Corridor, the EEC, which lies at the heart of our efforts, particularly with the Thailand 4.0 scheme and the BCG model. In line with priorities for the post-COVID economic recovery, EEC is driving investments in 3 emerging industrial clusters. Firstly, digital and emerging technologies. Second, health and well-being. And third, intelligent logistics. In this regard, we invite you to visit our country and explore the post-COVID-19 investment opportunities in the EEC, where special privileges can be tailored to fit the particular needs of investors. The Thai government has been working continuously to boost Thailand's competitiveness, and ease of doing business rankings continues to progress. We continue our efforts to attract international talents to the country, and we seek to enhance participation for all these endeavors. For our part, the Royal Thai Embassy here in Berlin has been working to connect and assist both Thais and Germans, and all of you, in new areas of mutual interest. Apart from promoting trade and investment relations between the 2 countries, the embassy has worked actively with partners in key events such as the Asia Berlin Summit, International Green Week, Hannover Messe, and others. Furthermore, the embassy, together with the Federal Ministry of Economic Affairs and Climate Action, are working hard and with other partners to seek to realize a meeting of the Joint Economic Committee of Thailand and Germany this year. Thailand admires Germany's policies in many areas, especially in sustainable economic development growth, energy transition, and new technologies. And we therefore hope to enhance our partnership in these areas. I sincerely hope that today's event can further contribute to enhancing the economic and business relations between Thailand and Germany and beyond in our large ASEAN market. We constantly work with our ASEAN partners to improve opportunities and engagement with our partners overseas. I would like to assure you that the Royal Thai Embassy in Berlin will continue to be an active interlocutor to reinforce the dialogue between our 2 countries for our mutual interests. I thank you for your attention, and once again, very warm welcome.
The 160 years of bilateral relations means a lot of stability. As everybody knows, Thailand is looking always ahead. The green economy and smart technology strategy is subject of political discussions since years, specifically in the EEC. I have to mention one thing before I give the floor to you, Dr. Thailand, that is join my club or visit us. Our Rotary Club Akona is very affiliated with the tradition and the base of our relations. Since 60 years ago, the company with delegation expedition to Asia, visiting Sri Lanka, India, China, and the East Siam, was a base based on Russian sanctions against German or Persian textiles. So we have to realize always again what tradition and challenges are. The floor is yours.
Excellency, Mr. Thai Sansutan, dear Mr. Traveler, dear panelists, dear guests, ladies and gentlemen, It's a great pleasure to address you this morning on behalf of the Federal Foreign Office and to express our gratitude to the Royal Thai Embassy, the Eastern Economic Corridor, the OAB, the German Thai Chamber of Commerce, the Global Trade Forum, and the Diplomatisches Magazin for organizing this event. It will be a great opportunity, and I'm amazed by the really great turnout this morning for broad exchange on the perspectives and opportunities of our Thai-German partnership in business and beyond. I think there could not be a better moment for this exchange. As we heard this year, 2022, we're celebrating 160 years diplomatic relations. Also, soon it will be 2 years that Germany issued policy guidelines for the Indo-Pacific, which set the stage for an even stronger commitment and political attention presence to the Indo-Pacific region as the most dynamic region in the world. And we're saying this is where the future is going to be shaped, and we want to be part of it. This is also an enormously challenging time that we're meeting. Global uncertainty, unprecedented pressure on the rules-based international order as we know it. Germany is currently experiencing in a painful way the downsides of asymmetric dependencies. And as we are reducing our dependencies from Russia, we're also looking at reducing one-sided dependencies in other regions of the world, and that includes Asia. It means strengthening and diversifying our relations in Asia even more. And in this regard, Thailand is a key partner for Germany in Asia, in Southeast Asia in particular, as it is a key player in ASEAN. ASEAN being one of the most dynamic economic regions in the world, with more inhabitants than the EU, due to become the 4th largest economy in the world by 2030. Thailand is an excellent partner for us because Thailand and Germany are among, not only, as we heard, each other's largest partners in their respective regional groups, but we also have really solid ingredients of our relationship on which we can build. Over 600 German companies in Thailand, over 230 university partnerships, work together on education and training programs, including in the Eastern Economic Corridor. So we have all the right ingredients of existing business relations, of personal connections that span over decades. We heard about the tourism picking up again in the German history. So we have lots of ground to build on. And let me just very briefly mention, I think, 3 little ingredients on how to seize additional potential. We're always looking into the future and to see how we can expand it even further. First, the issue of climate change. That's a challenge to our growth model. We need to transform our business models fundamentally. How to transition to affordable renewable energy, how do we decarbonize the transport sector, how do we ensure sustainable production and supply chains. And these are big challenges for Germany, for Thailand, but also even bigger opportunities. We at the German government are ready to provide support for this. Thailand is one of our focus countries of the International Climate Initiative, and I think this is something that we can work very closely together. Second, the issue of connectivity and sustainable infrastructure. German companies, universities, and research institutes have lots to offer when it comes to sustainable solutions. We have just newly established a German-Thai Railway Association, where Thai and German stakeholders can share experiences and collaborate on climate-friendly railway solutions. And another high-profile and high-potential initiative is the EU's Global Gateway Initiative, which was announced by the European Commission just a few months ago. And we can only encourage Thailand, but also German business to really look closely at this initiative and explore where there are possible opportunities, perhaps also in the Eastern Economic Corridor, for connecting and for building out alternatives which are sustainable and which do not create new dependencies, as we know from other initiatives around the world, but really try to be beneficial to everybody. And last but not least, I think we always need to work on how to build the right environment for investment, for business. We're looking forward, of course, to a resumption of free trade negotiations between the EU and Thailand, even between the EU and the whole of ASEAN. We know this would be especially when we're looking at an ambitious free trade agreement, very important to make globalized trade fairer and more sustainable. We know that it's a complex journey, a worthwhile journey, but it will take some time. And we need to think in the meantime, how we can make sure that we have the best favorable environment for our businesses. Looking at tax advantages as one element, but also qualified workers, skills, reliable regulatory environment, transparent public procurement procedures, and most importantly, a level playing field to attract all those investors who provide truly competitive technology and innovation. I'm very much looking forward to today's discussions and exchange. It's been a while. We haven't had the chance to exchange in person for a lot of time. I just want to say Thailand was basically the first country our Director General for Asia Pacific visited in January after 2 years of pause, which underlines once again we have exchanges with the German Chamber of Commerce there and the importance we attach to Thailand. Many thanks and looking for a very fruitful discussion this evening.
We are very, very good in time. So we have just one problem. The candidate has to speak now. Please, thank you. I open the floor and we are very interested to see your presentation.
Good morning, everyone. Representative, Head of Southeast Asia, ASEAN Division, German Head of Foreign Office, and Excellency Ambassador Nantawat Listener. We have heard these two gentlemen, Mr. Excellency, and we discussed about the relationship of 16 years old between Thailand and Germany about the two gentlemen as we're working on. So that's going to seal the deal in the next many years. We also thank you very much for the Mr. Temple, Mr. Chairman of the Global Trade Forum Berlin. Actually, today I just gave him another card with a special advisor to do this. Give him a good hand. We have Eileen, agriculture here, and as editors of diplomatic magazines. We have the distinguished panelists from EU and from Thai as well, and we have the ladies and gentlemen come to a small group here. Very precious meeting today. Thank you for all. I spent time to be back here in Berlin and in Germany and meeting friends face to face now. Don't have the mask and everything on. This makes me a bit easier today. And I met many friends and investors lately of the students, COVID pandemic. But anyway, in the spirit of looking to any impediments that give us pandemic, we can do opportunity and we're moving forward. First of all, I would like to express my appreciation to the German Global Forum Berlin, German Thai Chambers of Commerce, the Royal Thai Government, the Royal Thai Embassies, Berlin, and the diplomatic magazines in organizing this forum. Actually, to tell you the truth, this is the first EEC official outward trip after the 2 years of the pandemic. And we choose to come to see you here today. We are in German, and we look forward to see a lot of things going up. The secret is, I think a lot of things has been changed in both European continent and Asian continent. Last week, the ASEAN leaders gathered together and spoke at the Meiji Forum in Tokyo. They pledged to support the end of the war and bring peace to the world as soon as possible. But while we are struggling to live in a chaotic political situation in the world, we need to act quickly and collectively on the technology change and also the environmental sustainability issues. Actually, we have to thank the people and business Germany to move strongly on environmental issues and helping to solve the climate change issues here as well. While we continue to create the economic prosperity to improve people's living standard in Thailand, technology improvements and the BCT concept has been put into practice at least to all activities, big or small, in EEC. For example, Thailand EV promotion package, considered to be the most aggressive in ASEAN. Other than the industry in Thailand, which has strong participation from industries, return to produce the full EV at around 30 to 50% of the 2 million new cars per year by the year 2030. So that's the targets. Mercedes is already committed to do something for EV series to CV in Thailand. Alongside with Japanese and Chinese partner, you can heard the name of Great Wall Motor, Foxconn, BYD, Toyota, Honda, Mitsubishi, and other. We were talking to the district. We were talking to the BMWs to do the same thing. We have the company has been chosen EC to set up the regional headquarters in Southeast Asia. So things move quickly so far. In the meantime, EC estimate to increase the shares of alternative energy, solar in particular, to 30% in the next 5 years. The green emissions must come from the green energy source, not fossil. That's what we learned. And that's for the first 4 years an investment target. Of course, 47 billion euro has been approved. Now we are in the second stage that the next 5 years, EC target another 61 billion euro. For the next 5 years, investment focus on the 5 things: digitalization related to the country, decarbonization related to BCG, PayPal, and well-being business, and modernization of logistics linked to the mainland Southeast Asia to develop the place. When students come to Germany today, we have a lot of opportunities for the Japanese business ventures to the EC, Thailand to reach the Southeast Asian market at last. This trip we arranged to meet teams together. The first one is our investment team. We have the medical technology team, talking to the teams on many companies in Germany and throughout the country. We have the education team, seeking cooperation with various corporations, institutes, and covering for city of Berlin, Frankfurt, Munich. That's to show we are really in the business. Come to the times that we will rest no time. Minister today will in this forum, the global leader in digital technologies, green mobility, and has been clear. I appreciate their partnership in the program and eager to hear the evidence of the innovative technologies. Actually, there will be a lot of opportunities for firms, international investors, for manufacturing and other things. Hopefully, ask you to visit Thailand and EC as soon as possible. But at this time around, I would like to update you to the EC a little bit. It will take long. At this stage, we're thinking that even we have the China zero COVID policies, Asia and ASEAN recovered from COVID so far. Now, you have heard that the oil price will have which has the thin foreign reserve. In the case of Laos, we have in ASEAN Plus-3 the standby financial arrangement and safeguard their stabilities. I don't think we will have any further problem. But synergize will in the problem so far. But anyway, the growth rate of the ASEAN and Thailand has been very much so. Thailand grows at a path of stable of 3% this year and around 4% plus next year. Export is picking up well, thanks to the export diversification from food to high tech. Oil price rise will lead to inflation in Thailand this year around 5%. But if the oil price is up to around $100 per barrel next year, the inflation at Thailand will just be around 1.7%. I see in the member of monetary policy committee, we keep following this as and inflation might not be that much for Thailand this time. Thailand still have more than $100 billion foreign reserve. Is among the highest in ASEAN related to import and foreign debt. So that it will look okay this year. Thailand has been back from COVID from the past 2 years. Free vaccination and free COVID treatment has been practiced to all citizens. Tomorrow, Thailand will allow close to 100% of domestic activities, including foreign tourism, which account to be 18% of GDP before COVID. Wearing masks in public areas will be recommended, but other activities will be required too. As distinguished guest, if you see this one, Thailand is at the center of the mainland Southeast Asia. We actually developed the logistic connectivities with our neighboring countries here. We have Myanmar representative and other some ASEAN representative. We work together. And then we have the country to north to easily contact the ASEAN and come to Northeast Asia, Japan, China, Korea, South Asia, Middle East, and Europe easily. So covering this kind of thing, it took more than 30 years for us to building the road and railway whatsoever. Early this year, the cargo train from EEC, which is the eastern part of Thailand there, has reached to China. And not only that, it reached to Russia and connected to Europe using the new high-speed train lines in China. Thank you to Lao. So this route has been give us another way around to work in. It has been very rapid of kind of things. And also, if you see this thing, we sort of have the north-south corridor from China to EEC. We have the east-west corridor from Myanmar to Vietnam. So that has been implemented, and we can use that part as a transportation. If you see the train system here, the road and the train has been reached throughout the countries now. This government has employed what's so-called the two-track rails at another 4,000 kilometers to the development for the past 8 years, and maybe in the next 3 or 4 years, when we complete all of them. It has to be a very special moment for EEC to be able to connect the two countries. So if you consider the EEC can consider to be the area development project. It's mentioned by our ambassador that it's a pet project of the government. EEC is a special development zone covering 1.3 hectares, 3 provinces, South Chonburi and Rayong, and along the eastern seaboard connected to the capital city of Bangkok. For the past 4 years, as I said, we already approved investment 47+ billion euro. It's including 18 billion euro for PPP, a mega project of infrastructure. We have the high-speed train, 200 kilometers, the new airport covering around 70 passengers, the two deep sea port. And also we have 25 billion approved investment project by the BOI on the 10 target industry. This investment will be the driving force for Thai economy in the next couple of years from now. Anyway, to mention, we have the Utapao Airport. It's considered to be around 70 million passengers, and it's a center of development of the new metropolis city, 30 kilometers around the airport. We already have the MOU with the Zhengzhou. Zhengzhou is the transport hub air transport hub in China. They decided the MOU for the logistic services. So that it is also possible to find some airport in Germany.
Yeah, we have to, yeah.
Yes, to be the tri-party link it with this one.
That's
So it's a whole concept of cable transport that have been started. And if we have the connections to Germany this time, so actually, as I mentioned earlier, we are in the phase 2 of investment, because will be about 61 billion euro, and will be mainly focused on 5 themes. Which is the digitization related to 5Gs, decarbonization related to BCG, healthcare and well-being business, and modernizing the logistic link to the mainland Southeast Asia, and development of the livable and smart city, robotic, healthcare, medtech, smart logistics, 5Gs, data business, and BCG. I would say this times this phase contracted first phase EC is very better. It's easier for us to do because EC is not equipped with many things from the first phase. We have innovation park, ECI, in long already completed the first phase up and running this year. To the innovation, the sandbox of EV, electronic, agricultures. And if anybody wants to do the sandbox on regulation and transportation, to be able to generate the new regulation that fits to the needs of the sandbox of the research and innovation that we need for. Anyway, we have the genomic center set up and going to move from the sequencing and treatment to medical manufacturing. Actually, one of our team is talking to Roche Novartis, and some Roche already talking to us about having the MOU together. We have talking to some company in China, to name BCG, working with us on sequencing as well. So that will be the part of the thing. Actually, EEC is the prime location for those interested in the digital economy. The 5G related has been profound there. The 5G 6 now has been covered 100% east. We have manufacturing, and we hope that every factory business and a city can use the 5G signal to improve their business practice. Location-wise, it's interesting for the digital industries and the 5G related. What we mean for, we use some 5G into the development of smart city, smart electronic, the IoT, the data business that we're working on with what we call the common data lake will be there through the cloud business. And the 5G smart factory has been planned to be there. We're covering around 9,000 factories in EDC. This year we'll be covering around 200 to 250. In the next 3 years, we can cover all of that factories to be the 5G related population. We also put the 5Gs into the city like Pattaya, airport cities, and also Bangkok related to use the 5G to facilitating the local business there, and also healthcare and safety and the city. Actually, in Thailand, we do not divide pools and pools. On the size of Bangkok, we have that US company. On Pattaya, we have over there. So the harmony with that, that's the way we do. Anyway, we have been reported back from Bangkok because the other project that the police in Bangkok can captures the burglar within 2 hours, not only 2 hours to get the one, but 2 hours close the case. So that will be remarkable things, and this has been looking forward by many cities in China. So that those who are interested to do the 5G and related IoT business or data business, just as we have some something for you to play around. And then you can work. Okay, by doing this, we have what's it called, the law. EEC has our own act, and the Prime Minister is the chairman of EEC Policy Committee. In that committee, we have 14 ministers, meaning that whatever approved by EEC committee normally approved by the cabinet. In promoting the target industry, we working with many industrial estates. And we are working with the 28, setting up 28 promotion zone, which BOI provided incentive under the BOI law. So there's plenty of land for the industry with the ideas. But anyway, EEC by our law, we set up the special high technology zone, 7 of them, one such as the ECI, as I mentioned earlier. ECD, which is a digital park, the tech park at Banchan, the digital hub in Chonburi, Eastern Airport City, in order to draw technologies and new business and new smart city. So this kind of promotion scheme is under the EEC law. If you are in that area, we use the negotiation and mutually decide to do the thing. So we are working on like the EV special zone that can be sprout all the network of the EV system in one center. And in that case, if they have the high technology involvement, we are the one who doing the incentive for it. Okay. Actually, what we have, cannot leave this away. EEC is working on the decarbonization seriously. Thailand do it seriously. As I said, 30% of all the we just rewired 30 to around 40% of all the produced will be set EV. And hopefully we can do it by the end of this year. In EEC alone, we're going to have the 200 or more, up to 500 of the station of the power station. Actually, our facility is coming up before it has. We can do many things to you as well. So that I will not go into detail, but we have the incentive and the way to do the amendment. And this is the target we have. This is the economy, 10% gas greenhouse gas emission to be reduced by 10%, and 40% of the new investment on EEC will be applied for green cellular principle. I would like to add that first, EEC successfully changed the training paradigm to demand different by working with the law and short course with the private sectors. You can come to us. We have what we call 50% public-private contribution to do the training short course or long course. And those private sectors who participate in this program, you have to 50% tax reduction on every contributions you get into the program. It's been working well so far. We have more than 200 foreign companies to work with us. The training course can be launched before the site of construction and guarantee the sufficiency quality of workforce to the investment. Lastly, we think that this is the company we are working on. I will touch a little bit on the city development. Actually, when we have the Utapao Airport, the area covering around 30 kilometer radius of Utapao Airport will tend to be the aerotropolis city. It stands side by side with Bangkok. So you have the Bangkok and you have the city on the eastern part. So they will link together with between 250 to 50 kilometers an hour within around 1 hour's time. So that in the near future, 5 to 10 years, we will have the twin city Bangkok in this city. In this area, aerotropolis, we have that one, what we call the EEC Business Center and Livable Smart City. We already have the land to do that. The land is about 2,400 hectares, 15 kilometers away from Pฤษภา. So that there will be the combination of the 30 kilometers in that area. We have Pattaya, we have Anshan, we have Rayong, we have and this city combined into this 4 small cities together, 130 kilometers radius. So this is the new opportunity. We are looking forward to see the idea. We already have the land, we have the city, the big city we have. So we send the team scouting around the world. The ideas is not lastly, I would say I have somebody come from the German energy sphere. Just tell you that we have what we call petrochemical, the fourth phase in Market. So they already have around 2 billion. I should say it's close to $100 billion of petrochemical complex in Market. We are moving forward to the 4th phase, and we will looking forward to work with many people in Germany. So I should summarize that EC is a pet project of the government. Yes, first phase investment will be finished. We're working on the 2nd phase. By the 2nd phase, we can easily do the first phase have been fulfilled. Instead of 5 years, we fulfill the target in 4 years, more than we expected. And the COVID doesn't delay as much so far. The investment coming around 30% lower than we expected. From now on, the Thai economy will start to go from 3% to 4%. Hopefully, we reach to the peak of about 5% in the next couple of years. So easily will play a part of it. Hopefully, normally the Thai economy will go by 2%. Easy investment can generate another additional 1.5% to the Thai national GDP growth. So that's our target. So it's come to our my honest friends to do. 160 years relationship is good enough. But we have to work harder to compensate what we lost. Thailand lost around 2 trillion from that crisis. So easy will be a part of it to compensate, and we need the help. And we need the corporations to do the work to do more. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your brief introduction. An event like this today is a kind of inspiration. I can inspire you in the way that we have around 4 projects possible to be presented soon. And we look what is presented today. I know that Christina Haferkamp, Managing Director of the German Energy Agency, together with Sandra Roche, are very, very interested to work and cooperate with Thailand in the field of energy efficiency systems. They are here to talk to you, and of course, the ambassador. I know that he invite you to the campus, the campus in Berlin. It's not the time today, but keep in mind, energy efficiency should be a subject by the hydrogen issue. So the delegation from Thailand visiting Emirates where I can say the German side is. Before I open the floor for Ambassador Longwood to manage the second panel, I asked her whether Mr. Leipzig Airport should be engaged as well, please, because the basic interest of the German and the Thai side is to have closer international areas. Among the capitals, there is lack of international connections to capitals. We should look forward, and the joint gap could be Chengdu Airport, Leipzig Airport, Berlin Airport, Utapao already have existing MOUs with Zhengzhou and our friends from Thailand and Zhengzhou here today. It paves the way for more logistics, more passenger traffic in the region in both directions, not in respect of perishables only, but I think the perishable issue is of great importance for exporters to markets. So, Ambassador Nongmut, the extended floor is yours. We are in time. We have enough time, and even we get under pressure because of the time the delegation has. Everybody can stay here and talk later on, as long as we are kept up.
Good morning, has to be formed. I would like to invite this to be at your seat. The vice, the Canada, the Billy, the Latin. We start SMC's this individual analysis. Ladies and gentlemen, we start with okay, so I just continue to speak, right?
Yes. Only you.
Yes. We start the panels today by after you heard presentation from the this is about this moving forward in the agenda of logistic connectivity, digital transformation, the organization, and many others. This panel intend to provide opportunities for German companies investing in Thailand to reflect their views, their investment experiences. And those who are not yet in the base but think about that, you can also share with us your interests. About the business in Eastern Thailand in the future. We would welcome your perspective as well as to how and in which areas we can work together to further promote a stronger partnership between Thailand and Germany. This panel will have 40 minutes totally, so I will ask one question to each, and please take like 5 to 7 minutes. And if there are more times, I will come back to some panelists for another round of question. I will start with Dr. White, Executive Director of the German Chamber of Commerce. You've been in Thailand since the year 2015. You've done a good job in advising German companies to come to us. And I heard that you've been very active also in various activities, including training for the Thai workforce. I heard that you recently done a survey among 500 member companies. So would you like to share with us the outcome of that? What type of companies participate, the reason for the investment, do they have in the future business plan, any opportunities that you see? And sure, you'll be talking about the challenges they face as well. So please.
Yeah, no, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the German Chamber, I'd like to express our gratitude that we have been invited to co-organize for this event, and I'm also personally very happy that I can participate here as a panelist. I would like to start by adding to all the jubilees we are celebrating this year, to the 60 years in the relations, 2 years in the Pacific guidelines of the German federal government. I would like to add the 60th anniversary of the German Thai Chamber of Commerce as another highlight in our bilateral relations this year. And I take this event also as part of our celebrations this year, because we are not only celebrating by getting together and having a
in time, and also by continuing what we can do to enhance the German-Thai business relations. Is it okay without microphone?
Yes.
Thanks. Indeed, yes, I took this event as an opportunity to answer our company. So how do you see the Eastern Economic Corridor and what do they offer? And out of our 550 member companies, 49 have actually responded, which is quite a good outcome for such a survey. And out of these 49, almost 60% said, yes, we are in the Eastern Economic Corridor. So this proves that also German companies are living in the Eastern Economic Corridor. And it's not only the big companies, big German companies, but as a matter of fact, 47% of companies who responded, yes, we are active in the Eastern Economic Corridor are small companies. On the other side, 37% have more than 200 employees. So it shows that the German Mittelstand, our hidden champions, have discovered Thailand as a place where they can do good business and contribute to the Thai economic development, but also the big players are there. And not surprisingly, when we have heard about Thailand being a hub for automotive production, and having created a stimulus package to support the development of the e-mobility. 27% of our respondents said, yes, you come from the automotive sector. So this really shows the importance of Thailand. Also for the German automotive industry, followed by 8% being in logistics, and then agro and food chemicals, electronics are following. We asked them why did you come to the Eastern Economic Corridor? What do you benefit from? And 27% said it's the strategic location. Dr. Kanito showed how the Eastern Economic Corridor is perfectly located in ASEAN. So our companies realized that and said, yes, the strategic location of the Eastern Economic Corridor is a good reason to do that. On the second place was the proximity to the customers with 25%. So also very important, the customers are there also, right? And I think Dr. Kanit likes to hear that as well. On place 3, tariff incentives have been mentioned by 16%. They are important for them to make the decision to go to the Eastern Economic Corridor. Regarding the future plan, we asked them, do you want to invest this year, next year? We have planned in the next 5 to 10 years or 3 to 4 years. And out of the respondents, 20% said no, and right now we don't have any investment plans. But the good news is 26.5% said, yeah, we are going to invest in 2020. 31% said, we are going to invest in 2023. And then altogether, so 80% said they have investment plans this year, next year, in the next 5 to 10 years. So this shows that Eastern Economic Corridor is a good location. But of course, life is full of challenges, and this is true for our German companies in the Eastern Economic Corridor as well. And we asked them, what are your challenges then? The good news I would like to start with is one answer was none. We don't have challenges. Everything works well, infrastructure and incentives. Just this short statement. This is my introduction to some rather critical points. The biggest challenge mentioned by the 7 participants is the lack of qualified staff and personnel. One manpower war. But I understand you realize that. That's why so now education is one of the 12 target industries for the last 2 years. So you have seen this problem, and that's what we mentioned also the chamber is contributing to try to find a solution. One interesting feature was that the change from the traditional automotive industry to e-mobility, to electric vehicles, battery production, and all the related supply chain changes in the supply chains and in the production, as such, has been mentioned as one of the big challenges for our companies also. But I can assure you, our companies are willing to face these challenges at BMW and Mercedes both have established battery factories in the Middle East and Latin America. The second point was UI. There we heard there are still high borders for small companies to become UI automotive company. There's some unclearness regarding UI rules, unclear or not even documented, and not all details of investment policies and incentive programs are clear to us. So I think we should take this as a challenge for us to change that unclearness and make it clear to the companies to attract them to the Eastern program. Of course, there are also challenges mentioned like lack of material, high cost of freight and logistics in general, the shortage of supply chain disruption, and all these factors is not we should say to the Eastern corridor responsible for. But of course, has been mentioned. Regarding the promotion of future investment and how to support that, I would like to come back to this later.
Thank you, Dr. Nguyen. This is quite candid, the comments from your companies. I'm sure at the end of the session, Dr. Nguyen will have something to respond as well. May I introduce the next panelist, Mr. Haval from BMW, who are General Manager of the BMW Group Plan here in Berlin. We used to serve as Deputy Head of the Assembly.
Yeah.
The plan in Berlin. So welcome to join us. And we heard that your plant in Berlin now is a major manufacturing base, perhaps in the region, probably in BMW. And the company just recently invested more in motorcycle manufacture as well. At least, perhaps you can explain to us more how BMW could play stronger roles in promoting Thailand's supply chain production. Meantime, EC would like to collaborate with BMW in the strengthening of the automotive ecosystem to prepare for the future technology. So in that case, how easily can support your company, your plans to bring in new technology to Thailand, as well as to promote trade, which is your niche part as well. So this.
Yes, first of all, a very good morning, Sarika. For me, it's a great pleasure to be a part of this discussion today since I lived 5 years in Hungary. And it's like I'm very close connected to the region. Rayong, Amata City has played since 2000 a very important role for BMW in general. We started our production in 2000. For the first years, from 2000 to 2014, we have produced domestic volume, 3 series, 5 series mainly, a couple of 7 series for hotel fleets. And in 2014, we have started new thing. The first time ever we have used BMW car and BMW motors in one factory. This was totally new for BMW in general. No other factory worldwide has done this because BMW car and motorcycle is organizational-wise separate. And we tried it. And it created so many benefits. I will come to this point a bit later. After the investment in 2014 for motorcycle, we touched the point last year that we will extend production city, and we have invested 200 million in parts manufacturing. So from 2000 till today, the size of the factory is 3 times bigger than we have started. The start of the production will be next year, And now the specialty is that we are producing in Thailand and exporting. Exporting motorcycles to Malaysia, to the Philippines, to India, and the parts manufacturing. This is like this is not a full vehicle assembly. We are using components and exporting these components to the required places in the BMW world. The second point is what we really focused very strong is the education. We have implemented and we talked about this in the morning. We focused on the dual education system. We call it dual excellent education system. It's very similar, very close to the typical German dual education. Right now, as of now, we have educated 240 young, talented people. We prepare ourselves. We educate them for the future. And Dr. Ryan, you said in your speech the workforce, war of workers, you called it, right? We take care for ourselves and we educate the future on our own. And this strategy has shown us when you focus very early on talents, you can keep the talent because there is a continuous improvement, there is a continuous flow for the people possible. And the third point to your question is learning together. I would like to focus in this question. It's not like that the Thai environment has learned from BMW or from the Western BMW part. It's the other way around as well. BMW, Germany, BMW, the Western world of BMW has learned a lot from Thailand. For example, export. We had in 2016 we started a huge program. We tripled the production volume at Amata City in our factory from 8,000 up to close to 18, 19, 20,000 export to China. And this learning process between the Thai government, between the Thai NEC in Bangkok, and our operational staff, this was a huge journey to focus on together. Also, regarding learning in terms of our suppliers, we have pulled local suppliers for the wiring harness, for example. There was no wiring harness supplier before, so we brought this supplier to Amata City, the seats supplier. We helped them to get integrated in Amata and to start to ramp up the production. So in general, this learning journey between the Thai government, between our BMW organization and the supplier. And when we look back of the past 8, 10, 12 years, this was a continuous learning journey and a great collaboration between different parties towards one goal.
Thank you, Mr. Tanner. I think I really agree. BMW and several other German companies have been doing very good job in training for the Thai workforce. And we look forward to working with you in the future still, since Secretary General mentioned about the EC model. This is something that we can do with BMW. Thank you. By the way, so the next speaker, Mr. Gustavo Gardini. You are head of global partnership of Deutsche Bank Engineering and Consulting. Thank you for expressing your interest in to join us in this time. We heard from the Secretary General presentation about you see is expanding and upgrading infrastructure, logistics, connectivity to promote seamless transportation. That is our dream from Thailand to reach out to the neighboring countries. And with Deutsche Bahn's excellence, in mobility, in transport technology, and with your interest to engage in Thailand in the future, and how the UB can bring experiences to us. And it seems that one of your core business is training. And we would like to hear more from you how you work with us. Once you have the network companies, right? If they are interested to invest in the project, we have to prepare the workforce for them. So you play a very, very important role in that. So please.
Ambassador, thank you very much. It's a privilege and an honor to be invited, Mr. Kramer, with Kappa Club and this event. And the ambassador of Thailand is very important. The 17th Sustainable Development Goal, the last one, is about collaboration, and that's what we are here practicing and exchange experience, doing networking exactly towards like the progress of Thailand. And working since 160 years. I was not there, so right at the beginning, but for sure, I want to be part at this stage and BD as a long run. We have been, let's say, the history of like the Thai railways started with a German from Krip, who did the first, let's say, railway track right in Thailand, and in the 70s, when Thailand started the railway development in the country, we were there because the KfW and the German played a big role in the key set financing the rail sectors there, the BTS and other metro systems there. We were there as the operator, the German operator. And so we have been already part of the history of railway in Thailand since the 70s. We have among others the airport link connection to the center back in the 70s to 90s. And now we are, when we look at this, the EEC is all about it's an economic development where it depends to connect people and to connect goods. The goods, they have just a value from BMW if they are transported from production to the consumer place. And that's why BB Schenker, back in 2013, we started the first rail transport from the plant of BMW close to Leipzig, Dresden to China in 10,000 kilometers, everything on the railway. And that takes half of the time if you could go by ship and much less costs if you could go by plane. And so as DB, we are 100% like German government company. Today we are one of the biggest like operators of mobility, passengers and freight in a multimodal perspective. So railway is our core, but we look at logistics and mobility in an integrated manner because every mode of transport has its importance. So as a German 100% owned company, we cannot invest equity in Thailand, and being very clear to that. But what we saw is that the 5 biggest regions worldwide, we cannot invest equity outside Germany because like that's our focus market. But that doesn't impeach us because we are helping countries like since more than 50 years to bring and attract investors. The 5 biggest regions worldwide, or the so-called asset under management, they have, which is US, European Union, the UK, Japan, and China. They have $86 trillion assets under management. we from DB, we have contacts with many of those investment funds worldwide because they are looking for opportunities and sustainable investments. That is, they say, like, I am in contact with many of those investment funds. And they say you have more money than good opportunities to invest today. Because we look at both sides. We look at opportunities, we look at risks. In several countries in the Northern Hemisphere, you have like almost zero risk, but you have 1-2% return, internal rate of return. The Southern Hemisphere, like the Thailand and the EEC, a project like the EEC, you can have like give the opportunity to have a higher internal rate of return. But what they look is they look then at the opportunities in the Southern Hemisphere are very good, but they start many things on the risk. Most of the risks are related to regulatory framework, the lack of incentives, the difficulty to find good projects where the demand plays a big role. If we talk about mobility, logistics, everything starts on answering to do a railway connection there or the high speed. Everything starts where there is a demand, and and what I see from your presentation and from what I could like also understand from your university is that here you have a commitment from the state in order to organize, let's say, a focus in one corridor where you bring all and you answer to all the questions related to risks of like potential investors. As DB, we would like to keep our relationship with Thailand. We are the founder member as well on the German Thai Railway Association, founded by the Thai government as well as the Ambassador Schmidt. We are the only railway operator there with 185 years experience in railway. It will be a pleasure to participate in this. And today, one of the most important challenges we have is the connection between mobility, logistics, real estate, and energy. Everything like BMW, you are looking for, let's say, a plant, and you're producing, let's say, battery packs. So you need electricity. And like the energy is not going to be more fossil fuels. So to move trains, to move the cars, like we need like the energy connected to the mobility as well as, and you have to look at the real estate about it. And I'll give you an example. If you walk to the new train central station, this station didn't exist until 2006 for the work there. There was like free entry space there. Since the station is there, about 15 years, today you see a huge development of real estate that came because of the willingness, as you are doing, the public sector and the public interest to install, let's say, some infrastructure, and then you can have hotels. You have like on the back side of like the commercial and residential areas all over like the center of the city. And only and that's what we call TOD, transit development. So stations connected to the high-speed line, you have 200 kilometers. You have the most important thing, which is demand. How to organize demand to bring more people, because as a person, we want to go to get out of our home, maybe take a BMW, but don't go into the city center because it's too full. So we take to the next station, stop our car there, and go with public transport during the weekdays, and then we take our BMW during like when there is like a nice highway as well. It's like or the car sharing. But people want to go from A to B in a multimodal system, spending less time as possible with comfort, security, safety, and spending like a good amount of money. And in order to do that, we need to think like an integrated manner. That's why we are here for. And that's our commitment, and to keep with like Thailand supporting in the framework of organizing a system and logistics and mobility. And on the other hand, we have the training. My time is
You can just have a.
And we have like enterprise is the third largest like employer in Germany, 205,000 people, like in Germany, and 340,000 people worldwide. And we have a commitment for people. We have robots, like artificial intelligence, but business intelligence from people to people. And we are one of the only companies that can train all the branch of like maintenance operations from technical to executive levels. And we like as we did like we're doing in Qatar or in the US with the high speed California, we're bringing like this knowledge to our countries. So we'd like to reaffirm our interest in cooperating with like EC.
Thank you, Mr. President. I think the outlook looks very positive. I'm sure that we look forward to talking with you. We have in the future projects, digitalization of logistics and multimodal transport. In the future of EC smart city, the general person here. So that would be another opportunity as well. May I go next to Professor Prณ. You are former CEO of corporate IPK, Berlin, and he's still very active as professor at Technical University, as well as you are guest lecturer at Cotton Institute of Technology in China. So since EC attach importance to collaboration with and from corporate institute in bringing applied research to the industries to foster business development. As we hear from Dr. Panitan that we started to have from Stuttgart to do electroplating for SMEs in Thailand and to be part of the curriculum for the Thai workforce in the future. So perhaps with your experience, you can share with us, what corporate IPK has done for several countries in Asia, like Indonesia, China, in how to say it, bringing transforming research, applied research for industry. And in EC, we have EECI, EC innovation started already. Start construction almost done. Will start operation at the end of the year. There will be more opportunity to develop further. So as how corporate can be part of the EC in the way of the promoting translational research of industry. Yes.
Yeah, thank you for this nice introduction. Right, come also from my side. Well, I think most of you know Fraunhofer quite well. They are the biggest research organization in Europe for science research. Today, we're around 30,000, not 300, but 30,000. And in research, it's quite good. But you have in mind that there is not really a central approach to develop this Fraunhofer organization. It is a decentralized approach. And you mentioned I was here at the Berlin Institute at the day, and we have together with our university institute around 600 employees. So it's a quite nice mid-sized organization, and so we are able to do things with impact. And the central organization, of course, helps to develop relations to the state government and many other areas. But then decentrally, we are more or less completely free to decide what we are doing. First, everyone has a restriction, and that is the money. And the money comes at 70% from contracts. It is an important point. You mentioned the IPA in Stuttgart, that is involved in one part, and so it is independent. Well, welcome, congratulations also to your EEC plan. It looks very comprehensive, and I can agree with most of the parts. And it is also similar in several areas with groundwater, for example, in basic research, artificial intelligence, or let's say quantum technology and so on. But the impact is important. And that means what finally will support the innovation of a society. And this is especially the task of groundwater. And the areas we mentioned is very similar also to groundwater. And what we did not saw at the slide that we have also designed is the development from research institutes via the EEC up to the industry. And that describes quite well the life cycle of products. But we have to be careful with that, because if we have an introduced product in the market, you can see all the different steps before. But if we are on the basic level, we have maybe an imagination what would be the product in the end, but in reality, it is completely different from what we thought at the beginning. So the step forward from basic research to the final product, that is a difficult part. Of course, you need institutional aspects, you need institutes and so on. But in between, there are several steps where we need three abilities. That is the groundwater basic aspect. First, of course, we have to make this. Second, we have to make some inventions. And third, and that is important, there have to be the behavior as an entrepreneur. All these three aspects should have every researcher and founder in with all. So what we try to transfer as we work with other countries is not only transfer technology, basic research results, things like that. We try to transfer the behavior, how to bring in the spirit into the people who are driving these aspects, and really finally to have an impact. So what is how we can describe this spirit? And we say this is the intellectual capital of each organization. Intellectual capital is the first point, human capital, the experience, the knowledge of people. But what you agree, I believe, is also the motivation of people. Without motivation, nothing will happen. And if we look to the specific area of applied research, how we motivate the people really to work together with industrial demands and that under financial pressure. Yes. So motivation is a human capital, but you also need in these kind of organizations like science parks and innovation parks and so on, is structural capital. Between the different humans in such an organization, you need a structure how they communicate. And that doesn't mean a data. That means how we really exchange ideas openly without too much competition. Some competition is always good, but not too much, going in the way that everyone brings in his main competences and accepts the competences of the others. It is structural capital. And of course, at least we need relations to other organizations, organizational capital. And this means how we can find the right contacts, people who have demands, also the industry, or to the government to finance structural aspects, the new institute, things like that, that's the relational capital. Okay, very shortly, the three aspects you always have to implement. And if you set up an innovation center, whatever you call it, mostly you forget the three aspects. Okay. And all three are related to humans. Well, you asked what have we done in the past. For example, in 1985, there was a first project in this area when we installed an institute for industrial engineering in Indonesia. And later on, we have made design and implementation of the Science and Technology Park in Dubai. We made the common design of the Brazilian Innovation Strategy and established research institutes there. In China, we built up a showcase for Industry 4.0, an application center in Nanjing, and so on. In all these areas, we did not transfer the technology only. It is, of course, the basis, but we transferred the behavior I mentioned before. And in each country, the demands for research big impact is different. In each country, we have different conditions, we have different educational research bases, we have different levels of industry. And we have to fix very heavily in the actual situation in the country. Let me give you one short example. There was in Indonesia, in a small university, an expert group in Paris, and this group made several applications, and they were cited around the world. Unfortunately, the government, of course, spent money because it was all replicated in the world. Unfortunately, this disease did not exist in this country. So the impact is zero. So they spent money and had no impact. So that is the important point. If I come back to your sequence from basic research to the industry, you have to think backwards. From maybe we said smart city, what will do this surrounding in the future? How a smart city should look like, and going from there backwards and find what basic research we need. As a second, on each step forward, you have to be open, support the entrepreneurship aspects, that the people can choose the way with the biggest impact.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Director. I thought that, in the future, we may have a chance to visit Thailand and EC, and see our science park and EC, right? So we solicit more valuable comments today as well. Let me go to the last speaker. I appreciate your coming, Mr. Mario Patrick. You are head of business development department logistics from Leipzig Airport. What I heard is Leipzig Airport is the top 5 logistic hub in Europe, and we have a cooperation of MOU with Zhengzhou in China, which is exactly what the Secretary just mentioned, but EC is with Zhengzhou, China as well. Perhaps you can elaborate your interest to work with the International Airport in the future when it's fully operated. There must be a lot of opportunities for logistics connection between Germany and Thailand, particularly for some fresh products. So please.
Well, thank you very much for the invitation today. It's a pleasure to be here. And I realized there are quite a few similarities on the participants here on the panel. Especially when we talk about BMW itself is not my airport. We share that as an important part of our logistics community. Is a research institute with whom we are working on a German project for the digitalization. It's a work which holds us for many years and we enjoy it. Yes, airports like the color can also go in. Important logistics and also important platforms for trade, for exchange of people. Leipzig is an airport which focuses a lot on cargo. So this differentiates just a little bit from Berlin. Berlin has much higher focus on passenger-wise. We are an airport with cargo infrastructure, which is mostly driven by integrators like DHL and Amazon. And through DHL, we already have a cargo to the global so they have flights from Hong Kong back to Leipzig. Nevertheless, our strategy in business development is to enhance and use the opportunities we have on our airport for developing more third-party business, which is more integrated. And there are two exciting projects at the moment that we have. One is the aforementioned digitalization project that we have with other airports, other forwarding agents, trucking companies across Germany, and that is led by Nova, I don't know, and also the university business school in Frankfurt. This is to drive and to enhance our processes in the logistics community at airports and communities in Germany. So this is something which is a joint benefits, also funded by the German Ministry of Traffic. The other exciting project for our airports is our MOU with the group of airports in Shenzhen. Our cooperation has experienced since 2016. And in the beginning, it was the setup charter that the forwarding agents linked to the Far East and right into Germany and beyond. And since the beginning of this year, we have a pilot project in Shenzhen, which will run for the first phase for 2 years. The lifeline, so to speak, is our charter project in Shenzhen 4 times weekly and other players 1 times a year. To be sure that one of the pilots who is actually using the aircraft capacity on that flight, and it provides us the opportunity to make the right to change your route very attractive for all sorts of passive cargo. E-commerce, of course, plays a big role, and also perishable consumers. Both airports are operations. In terms of cargo, there's no restriction. Both airports try to enhance the cargo operation to customs authorities. This is going to be the biggest one that we're working on. But one of the things that we're working on immediately is to standardize and harmonize our standard processes. So forwarding agents and logistics plans get the same customs proposition on both airports. And we like to enhance that to be better than other routes into Europe, Germany. And one big item is the implementation of the platform. Our clients can exchange data, just to have a transparent look at what is happening with their shipments, also supporting logistic processes. And the ultimate goal is to bring together our customs and customs authorities. And this is especially important in terms of. So this will run for 2 years, and ultimate goal is to maybe open up in 2025 air carpet terminals, which are dedicated to this project, to this route. But this will happen in a second. So I can only second what the gentleman in terms of learning. It has been an intercultural experience. Many envisage as Germans having a certain way of doing business, and statements too. We're working very closely with our Chinese partners, and we learn from each other. Many parts of Chinese counterparts are much quicker than us, a bit more agile. We like to think a little bit more, but it's a project which is enables logistics players and economic participants to really take advantage of the infrastructure that we have and easy access into the parties, but also into. And because we are gentlemen from Schengen, yes, we got a lot of that trade as well. Schengen has a huge, it's huge, terminal, rail terminal in away from our airport. But Schengen also has a little air cargo station right, which is just enough to handle 1 train, and that's going to be used by rail trains for the seaports from Hamburg and then traveling to Leipzig and reload it on trucks. What we haven't been able to do yet is to link airport and sea Okay, and I think this could be something for the future, especially when it comes to distribution in the whole internet. The distribution away from the road, off the road, onto the tracks, into other parts. So this is a project that we definitely looking at in the future, trying to define that. So what I would like you to take away is of Inglaterra's RPJ, and in the eastern part we are the other airport, which is number 4 in Europe. And still, lots of opportunities here in the open hotel, and especially with our policy changes.
Thank you, Mr. President. Looks like that your business is growing, because on your website, if you are the fifth.
Yes, we're not for this.
Information from you has given us right to your business engagement agency. So, and it's confirmed my observation since several years ago that your German company's presence in Thailand has formed to be a very strong ecosystem for the support of this channel to make your business really good. By the way, I think we are in good shape in keeping the time, but if you don't mind, Mr. Temple, we have like 10, you should have 10 minutes for the Secretary General to respond to some interesting things.
Sure, yes, it was.
If you would like to respond to some points raised by the panelists.
Thank you very much. Actually,
To the podium.
please take the microphone.
This is a Q&A for, because I do raise some question, so I asked them to tell whether you would like to respond.
Yes, I'll try to do that. I'll try to do that.